In light of changes to the Primary 1 registration framework, parents were busy on chat groups and forums discussing how to get around the new rules that will kick in next year. Among their top concerns, if the tweaks would indeed result in less competition and stress during the annual exercise. Briefly, the changes include the doubling of places set aside under Phase 2C to 40 and the combining of Phases 2A1 and 2A2 into a single phase. Now, netizens have commented as well to the Straits Times' Facebook posts on these developments. Some welcomed the move, like JJ Lau Chin Chia, who wrote, "More sensible for kids living near the schools to have more chances of entering, cuts down on time spent on travelling." Henry Sharp had a similar sentiment, saying the change is a step in the right direction. But he also noted the perennial differing opinions that Singaporeans will have on which comes first, proximity or school affiliation. And as a further change to Phase 2A meant for children of alumni, Ricky Budell suggested, quote, remove the volunteer and the joint management of advisory committee. The Straits Times' senior education correspondent Sandra Davie has written a story on it, and she's here to share more. Welcome back to the show, Sandra. You wrote in your piece that alumni will be the group of parents most affected, especially vis-a-vis the Phase 2 changes. In what ways, Sandra?
Alumni who are affected say, where are these additional 20 places coming from? So invariably, it has to come from the earlier phases. In Phase 2A1 and 2A2, which is mainly for alumni. Straits Times also did an analysis of the data for P1 registration this year. We looked at it carefully, and there are about 19 schools that only had about 41 places left for Phase 2B and 2C. So assuming that the demand in the earlier phase 1 is for siblings, those of them who have siblings studying in the same school, you can assume that alumni of these schools who come under the next phase, right, are likely to face more competition, which is why, and these 19 schools include the usual very popular schools, Catholic High, Itong, IJ St. Nicholas, Southview, St. Hilda's, and Rosyth. So all very popular schools with parents. So I think, and a strong alumni group. So obviously, the alumni are going to be affected by these changes. Yeah.
So Sandra, who stands to gain the most from these changes?
Okay, so basically the parents who will gain, or the children who will gain, are those who have no connections to the school and come under Phase 2C and are happy to actually put their kids in a school near their home, right? So that they don't have to travel too far to get to school. Maybe you don't even have to take the school bus or wake up too early. So they will be the ones who will gain from this change, because under Phase 2C, those who live within 1 kilometer to the school will get first priority, and then it'll be followed by those who live within 2 kilometers to the school. So they will be the ones but they have to be happy to send their kid to a school near their home, whether or not it's a popular school. Yeah.
Sandra, even though, this group of people stand to gain the most, you mentioned in your story as well that it won't lessen the competition. And let's talk about the 20 extra spots as well. I mean, it's 20 extra spots. How significant is that?
Well, it's 20 extra places, all right, even at the most popular schools. And it just improves the chances for those who have no other connections, right? But on the other hand, I say that, I wonder whether it will lessen the stress and competition for places, because yesterday, after the MOE's announcements came out, immediately I went to the parents' forums and chat groups, And already parents were discussing, oh, how can we game this, the system now, right, from next year? And a lot of them were already talking about, okay, so it looks like I have to move to be closer to the school, because at every phase, let's say more alumni than places apply under phase 2A, right? So what happens is then they will take in those, they will give priority to alumni who live near the school, right? So as one parent said, on top of being an alumni, now I have to live near the school. So how is this going to, lessen the competition and stress? So yeah, I mean, basically parents have to stop this behavior of hankering after just the popular schools, which they think are the schools that are going to help their kids do well in the PSLE. But really, as ministry keeps saying, our schools are all very well resourced. They're very well trained teachers. And a lot of schools, other than the popular schools, offer a lot of programs which are quite interesting. And really, they should be looking at some of the information provided on these schools and think in terms of, which school best suits my child, not which is the top school I can get my kid into. Yeah.
Well said, Sandra. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. That was Sandra Davie, Senior Education Correspondent for the Straits Times. A link to her story is in the description below if you're watching us on YouTube.